YouTube, it's Brian Phillips. We've got this little plane. I don't even know what it's called, but it's pretty cool. Check the video link. X35?
Yes.
Well, I know it's modeled after an X35. I don't know what the Chinese called it this time. This thing has all sorts of cool features, auto leveling, all sorts of things. Let's just fly it and show you how awesome it is, guys. Look at this. Okay, here we go. Elevator up, down. Listening for the double beep, that gives me high rates. Single beep gives me low rates. I'm pressing this button. This thing has a one-touch something or another. It's got a light control. I don't even know what that does, but it does something. And then, of course, there's the U-turn button, so you want to be careful about that one. The trim buttons are in weird spots, so check the manual. I don't know what this thing does. So here we go. Sounds kind of mad at life. So far, so good. Very good flying. Very easy going. Not as fast as I figured, but but the thing is, I actually kind of like the fact that it's slow. I'm 50% throttle here. Look at that. You can actually see the thing. And yet it does fly. Okay, so here's full throttle. Full amazing speed. Wow. Okay, so we need to do a little trimming. So there's two arrows on the side of this thingy. One of them is here, and then one is the other side. Okay, that actually helped a lot. Give it 2 clicks. Okay, remember, you got to give throttle to turn it because differential thrust. Woo! Wow, that echoed. That was loud.
My eardrums.
Sorry for your speakers. Okay, so as you can tell, this EPP model handles the crashes just fine. When I say EPP, I mean whatever that stands for, it's a bendy wing, okay? These things slide on super easy. Stick around for the build. You can see how we did that. Obviously, wheels up, wheels down, but this one has the added benefit of having extremely easy to remove landing gear, which I'm going to remove and stick into my pocket, not in the side where my mic sits. There's a little clicker that clicks that in, so I'm just going to take that out. This plane deserves no gear because it looks so pretty without. Look at that. And look at this. It's got differential thrust, but then it's also got, look at this. It's got a VTEL configuration, which is strange. It doesn't seem to be that controllable in the VTEL configuration though. Oh yeah, buddy. Look at that. Well, that looks about 1,000 times nicer. You know, jets just look better without landing gear, if you ask me. You got to do them without landing gear once in a while. Oh yeah. Little porpoisey going on here. We do have wind. Don't hate me for flying in wind. There's 1 click. I want to see what low rates look like. Ooh, that's kind of scary. There's double the rates. Remember, you got to give it a little throttle to make it turn. When the wind interacts with it, it's quite challenging to stay on top of the controls. It's actually auto leveling nicely though. Okay, so just to give you an idea, if you get it pointed straight, I'm just kind of pulling it away from the house and stuff, but it's not really hard to fly necessarily. But you will find that it turns a lot better one way than the other. And that's what I'm learning. So as long as you know that going in, it's not too bad. Boy, it looks striking in the sun too, doesn't it? That yellow. Mm-hmm. The yellow and blue on the gray frame is actually pretty sweet. I'm usually kind of a big proponent of scale airplanes, and this one does look pretty good. It's got good lines for an F35 or an X. Is it an X35?
I think that's what it says.
Now I'm like super confused by my own remarks. It's not an X35, it's an F35.
I know, but I think the Chinese called it an X35.
Oh, they did?
Yeah. I think that's what you said inside.
Like Boeing style?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Are you like aiming?
Watch out for the house! So, I mean, I don't know. It flies okay. It's not the best flying one we've ever had, but honestly, for being a cool looking jet, it's pretty cool. And then obviously you don't have to deal with the headaches of battery chewing EDFs, because who wants to have EDFs that are even more awesome, right? Oh boy, that was a little bit close. That was for real, people. That was an attack on the sovereignty of Brian Phillips RC. Let's, I was actually thinking I might try to catch this one just because it just wants to attack us a lot.
I was gonna say.
Let's try it. Let's see if we can do it. See, when you let off the throttle, the elevator goes down because they've mixed in an elevator with the throttle. So note to self, Chinese, don't do that. Because the problem is when you let off the throttle, it nosedives. And you have to give it throttle. See, watch this. When I give throttle, watch the elevator. See that? When it comes alive, it goes up. So it makes it really hard to glide the thing. And this thing would glide like great, actually. I want to see if there's another button we can press to get rid of the stabilization. Okay, I'm going to try the left button after I turn around. Okay, there's the left button. Ooh, whoa, buddy! That was the one touch not fly anymore. Okay, so that's the one touch like aerobatic maneuvers. We're gonna try it again. Hey, check it out though. No damage on the props. That's pretty sweet. All right, here goes nothing. Okay, let's try the one touch loop. Wow, that was lame.
That was not a loop.
That was definitely not a loop. Okay, so let's try it again. I'm gonna get a little more speed up here. Oh, one touch crash. So when you press this, then you give the corresponding input, it's gonna do a roll. But it's kind of almost too slow right now. So we'll try it again. We'll pause while I walk out there. All right, so we're gonna try launching this again and we'll try a loop. We'll get one eventually. With the wind this time. I'm gonna have to like work my way up here. Sorry, camera crew. I can't be over there. Going up a little higher still. Pretty much full throttle flyer here. Okay, button, and then, oh, it almost executed a loop. Problem is it's still trying to do it. Get over here. It eventually times out if it doesn't get it completed. Listening for the two beeps. Okay, I'm going way high now, and I'm gonna try to put it into a dive before I do it. Here we go. A little bit of a dive. Come on. Oh, it didn't get it. See, it's still trying to do it, and then it just times out eventually. Okay? So it keeps trying. All right, let's try a one-touch roll. Okay, here we go. One-touch roll. Wow, that is really terrible piloting. But it's still cool. I mean, it's fun. You just gotta be like 4 miles high for it to work. Now we're gonna try rolling the other way. We rolled to the right that time. Getting up to altitude, a few mistakes high. Checking for manned aircraft, we're good. They're way over there, thousands of feet to the right. Okay, clicking and going to the right this time. There we go. Whoa! It's the one-touch surprise maneuver. Okay, we're gonna try this again. We're going up to altitude again. This time we're gonna try to go left. All right, going into the wind. That's why I keep going back the same direction, folks. Okay, so we've clicked and then to the left. Oh, I thought it was a loop. Still trying and failing miserably. Oh my goodness. Very disappointing one-touch button. You know what, guys? Who cares? It's still fun. Look at this thing. Look how beautiful it is. It's like the Attack F35 compilation today. So there is a trim adjustment, but I don't know exactly that it really works because I've tried pressing the buttons a few times and I'm not seeing it really making that impact the way I'd expect it to. Okay, one touch return, and it's trying to turn around. Yep, I'm way up there, folks. Chopping the throttle, just bringing it back to myself. All right, the one touch button didn't really do anything. It's supposed to, but it didn't. So what have we learned about this plane, camera crew?
That it's hard to film in the sun.
You don't like pointing the camera straight at the sun, what?
Well, if you don't count on the one-touch buttons, I just don't plan on those.
Yeah, don't plan on those, and then you have to mix in a little bit of elevator yourself, meaning you have to kind of pull the stick back to make it complete a turn. And then when you chop the throttle, look at that. You have to hold back the stick to get it to glide. So I would say overall, is it really cool? Yeah, it's cool. Does it fly as good as some of the other planes we've had? Yeah, not even close. We've had a lot of planes like this. This one flies really bad, I would say, generally. I would say the wind coming at us should make it super easy to fly, but it's just not tolerating the turns very well. You hear the noise?
Yeah, the pitch changes.
I just wonder if we've got something maybe not quite right. I don't know if you guys could see the way I launched that. The whole objective in launching it that way, if you lower your throttle, then it gives the differential thrust more difference in thrust to be able to make a turn. But you see, I'm full stick and that's as tight as I can do it. I don't like that. I feel out of control. Then this side, it's pretty tight, okay? So you just have to figure out which direction it's gonna turn for you and which direction it's gonna not turn for you. And then you can fly with a little bit more confidence. I'm also thinking that our auto leveling, oh my goodness, I'm upside down. That was bizarre. I've seen that before. Do you remember the F22? We had that happen there where it flew upside down.
I don't remember that.
So check this out. I'm gonna try to do it again on purpose this time. See, now it's upside down. It does not mean to fly upside down. It's an accidental thing. So I don't know. I just feel like this flight controller, this Chinese flight controller that they use in all these, oh, that's our warning for low voltage. Let's land. Okay, so let's go get it. The battery door popped open. It was not trying to procreate. Okay, so you want to be careful here. Would you mind holding that? That you don't get cut up. This is a 600 milliamp hour battery, and it's got this goofy connector that's got like a balance lead. Be careful, it's wired backward from what you expect. So don't try to put that into your balance charger and charge it, because the polarity is reverse. I don't know why they do that either, because I feel like this plane could do so much better. And I think a large part of it is that it's maybe a bit nose heavy, which is strange because if you see the way it's flying, you would think it might be a little tail heavy. Well, there's not enough pitch sensitivity on the elevator, I don't think. So if you could get a little bit of weight back here, like where this got ripped off, you could take and put a little bit of weight, like maybe a paper clip or a coin or something like that. And that would get it behind the center of gravity, and it might actually help this thing to fly a little bit better. But in terms of flight performance, the other thing you can do is you could actually put this to the next hole out, and you would get more output from your elevator and your televon, I guess is what it is. The other thing too I don't understand is, why do we not have better roll authority? Because this does have VTOL controls. So it seems to me that you should be able to roll the plane over and roll the plane back without too much trouble at all. And I don't know if you guys could see when I was trying to do my rolls, it took about 4,000 feet of altitude off the plane. So anyway, my experience on this plane would probably be not real great. It's definitely cool looking. If you like the F35 a lot, I would say it's probably worth getting. It's not a super expensive plane. Is it one of the better flying planes? Yeah, I'd say no. So that being said, if you guys stick around, we'll show you how we unboxed it, what we had to do to set it up, which was not much. It's just ready to fly. And we'll go over what the manual suggested about the controls that didn't really seem to do much of anything, which is what we've come to find with many of these little one-off kind of in-wing prop design planes. We've flown them from, what is it, X-Bear or Fly Bear.
Yeah.
We've done Fly Bear, we've done X-Fly, we've done Ishin, we've done just a bunch of different, well, then there's like the generic ones that just have like model numbers. They must be before they get picked up by X-Fly or whatever. XK, sorry, Fly Bear, whatever brand it is. Yeah, Fly Bear is the one that does just model numbers usually, right? And then,
Yeah,
you know, like 6 months later, there'll be Ishin, and then, you know, there's just a bunch of different, I don't even know how it works. I don't know the hierarchy of branding over in China, but I can tell you this one, yeah, I'd maybe come up with a better one. So that being said, good luck if you get it. I'm sure you'll have fun with it. It's still a blast to fly with these little things. But the thing is, our expectations here on Brian Phillips RC are pretty high. We want them to fly good so that you have a good experience. If this is your first plane, think of this like a toy. It's hard to control. It's kind of a fun thing to do with the kids on a weekend. But it's not like this thing's going to replace a Sport Cub SUMX or even a Sport Cub 500, which is like an E-Sheet product, I believe. And that's a great plane, flies very good. And you can have a great flying experience. I think it's still EPP too, so you get a lot of durability that you get out of a model like this. It's not a cool jet like this, but I'll be honest with you, the jets like this that we've flown, they've pretty much been wonky flying at best. The Predator drone that was in the same line as this, that one flew, it was maybe not great either. But we did have fun flying it, and it was very detailed, very cool looking. So if you're after a display model, that's pretty cool. And by the way, these little, when those motors got put in the middle of the wing instead of the end of the wing back here, huge improvement in looks, huge improvement in performance. Wheels up, wheels down performance, pretty good on this. But I would say that generally speaking, leaves too much to be desired to put it on your wish list, in my opinion. So if you disagree, we've got links for you in the video description, and we hope that you'll buy one. You'll help support our channel by doing that. And if you don't like this plane, we got hundreds more in the list, and there'll be something there that will meet most people's fancy. And we appreciate you guys being part of our YouTube channel here. Best audience in YouTube history. And by the way, stick around. We'll show you the Unbox build and radio setup next. YouTube, it's Brian Phillips. What do we have here? We haven't had a garbage bag in a long time, but we have one today. Ages 14 plus. Oh, yes. Look at that fancy dance. This is the KF605 made by KFPlane. Okay. And it is a professional RC design, meaning that somebody made money on it somewhere. It is 4 channels, easy control, easy flying, exclamation point. Looks like we have a gyro automatic stabilization system, beginner level, high capacity lithium battery. It's made of EPP, which is good. Should be nice and squishy. And 2.4 gigahertz. There is a roll forward, which for those of you Chinese listening, we call that a flip. And then there is a roll left and right, which would be like a barrel roll. That's pretty cool. And 2.4 gigahertz, which is nice. So yeah, let's get into it. We're gonna unbox this thing. You guys have already seen it fly. We always put the flight at the beginning because that's the exciting part, the part most of you come for. And this is the lame part that only the most loyal supporters stay for. Just kidding. Whoa. We do always show the unbox because that's where all the magic happens. That's when you really get to see how crappy or awesome the plane really is. Wow, a color manual? Are you kidding me? Look at this, even the back is color. In Chinese, that's crazy. Huh, interesting. Whoa. Since when do we get good manuals from Chinese planes?
We haven't read it yet.
This is, hold on a second. Do they tell us to pack a lunch? Look at this, there's like buttons all over. Button, 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 button. Gimbal, ooh, doesn't feel very good. No button, and then power. That's just not a momentary, it's just a spring return button. Okay, so that's sweet. So we'll see how that works. It looks like we're gonna have to add some batteries in there. And 1, 2, 3, 4, they don't have the anti-choking hazard screw installed, which is actually much appreciated on my end. I hate having to deal with that. Looks like we got some spare props in here. Let's just open the bag. We'll dump it out real quick. There's a white spot. Okay, so it comes with a prop remover. This helps you to remove the props without pulling the motor out. Little USB charger cable. Very simple systems. Front gear, main gear. Nice springy, bouncy. And then one of the world's smallest Chinese screwdrivers, so that's always handy.
Are those extra props or the props?
Extra props. Oh yeah, bub. Look at that.
Cool.
That is really good. I'm actually quite excited to see this. It's got a little dihedral in there, so that should help it fly neutrally flat. I'm really excited. This is the F35 is what it's kind of modeled after, it looks like. There's an on-off switch. That's kind of handy. Whoa, it's already on. What the heck? They have a battery in it already?
And plugged in?
What? Why? That's maybe not so smart, but whatever. Look, there's literally a battery plugged in already. What the heck? They must have forgot to unplug it.
Maybe that's the new integral battery rule. You have to plug
It has to be plugged in? Well, no, because there's a second one right here.
Oh.
So is there a third one? Okay, so seriously, guys, we've had planes like this where they have like crammed them up into the weird cavities in the plane. Let's talk about charging real quick. I know it's not very exciting, but it's something that everybody has to deal with. I do like this connector style. Here's why. This is a pH connector. It's a Hextronics pH connector, so it'll actually go into a regular charger, which is pretty sweet. I hadn't thought about that until recently. So if we turn on one of our smart chargers, we're just gonna let that fire up. The reason we're doing this is because there's a USB plug on the side of this. This is the Gen 2 S2200 smart charger from Horizon Hobby. It's expensive. You wouldn't need it for this plane, but the reason I show is just because we have a USB plug on the side, which will give us some power to run this little doohickey. There should be some lights on it. Which direction? There we go. Okay, so there's no light on this side. There might be a light on the other side. Sometimes hard to see. And then you can plug this in. Oh, look, red light comes on. Okay, so that must mean charging. That's always good. These are incidentally 3.7 volts at 600 milliamps. Wow, that's a 600 milliamp hour battery. So the cool thing is about this, check this out. You don't need any adapter, and you can go straight into, oh no, the polarity is backward. Why the heck would they do that? Look, the negative should be up. See, this won't work. You'd have to actually plug it in backward to work it. And then it would actually work on this charger. On this isn't a charger, this is just a battery checker. But you see that? The polarity is backward. See, the plus is here. Look at every other balance lead we have. Let's find a battery. Here's one. Ah, of course, it's got the same thing. You see this? The polarity is backward. The negative is in the wrong spot. Why would you guys do that? Come on now. We got such a sweet little system going there. I was all excited about it. So then we've got other little smart chargers like this that work really nice. Of course, this thing's gonna work fine, but just buyer beware. You need to be careful about that because you can't just plug it in or you're gonna have a problem. See, like every other battery, see where the red is? Mm-hmm. The polarity is backward, folks. Oh, that's so annoying. We were so dang close to having I thought that was a home run right there. Now, that being said, if you want to charge this thing, you can actually switch these two wires around, but you just have to remember to switch them back. Or, more importantly, if you're very annoyed by this idea, you could swap it here as well. Yeah, see this? This plug, and it's designed this way so that you're supposed to use the charger that they provide, right? All you'd have to do is just release those pins, switch them around, and then you'd be golden. And you could actually charge this on any standard charger that has a balance port, because that's a Hextronics GST connection right there, okay? So that's pretty cool. Anyway, for the time being, let's not lose too much sleep over it, but let's go ahead and grab a regular voltage tester so that you guys can see along with me exactly what the voltage is at. And I just have to dig through my junk drawer to find it real quick. Here it is. And so we'll do the negative in there. Okay, so it's one cell and they sent it as 3.97. That's pretty good. 3.8 is a storage charge level. That's kind of the generic storage charge level. This one's been charging for just a few seconds. So we'll try that. One cell. It's at 4. Okay, so we're coming up a little bit. And then kind of the same thing here. We'll go ahead and plop that in there. And if you were gonna do that swap-a-roo, then you'd wanna swap these leads too so you don't accidentally plug it in and screw things up. And see, all you have to do is just put in a really, really small screwdriver and you can actually release those pins and pull them out. So we'll let that charge for now. And we'll come right back to that in a few minutes. But anyway, it's working. What else do we have in the box? Obviously, we got a couple of vertical stabilizers. They show in the manual. You do want to have these things in here. It will not fly well without them. It will fly, but it'll fall over on itself, basically. Looks like they just snap in pretty easy. There's one that goes here and one that goes here, and it looks like they might be mostly ambidextrous. Say it.
Ambidextrous.
Did I say it wrong?
Yeah, no, you said it right.
Oh, okay. Hopefully we don't both say it wrong. Oh, snaps in super easy. That's awesome. I thought there was a bit of an angle here, but there's really not. The angle is molded into this little plastic doohickey they've got glued into the foam. The EPP foam is really good for strength and longevity for new pilots. Of course, you can see it bends and it springs back. This also is full. Sometimes they leave the tip empty to, well, basically when you crash, it's a little easier on your stuff. And then underneath this, there's usually a little counterweight. So there's like a ball bearing in there. You can see it if you look close. So it's not just a quality assurance sticker. It's actually a ball bearing. Okay, and then it looks like, whoa, they did ball joints on the control lever. That's so cool. Since when do they do that? All right, so this is gonna have differential thrust almost certainly, which is gonna allow us to yaw the plane. Then we're gonna have up and down. And then of course we're gonna have throttle. So that's channel 1 is throttle. Channel 2 and 3 would be differential thrust. And then channel 4 would be elevator. Okay, so you don't have to just speed up to go up and down. You actually have an elevator that will go up, which forces the nose up, or down, forces the nose down. And then the differential between the left and right motors is going to yaw the airplane, or yaw the airplane. In doing so, because of the dihedral, it's gonna speed up this wing and it's gonna go up. So it's gonna roll the plane, okay? So you roll the plane like this. Now they may also run these independent of each other, but I kind of doubt it. That's probably tied in together, so it's running as the same channel. And if that's not true, I stand corrected. You could also run these as a V-tail where one goes up and one goes down. That would roll your plane. When they go up together, it would go up and down, and so on and so forth. So good packaging, pretty simple, just regular foam there on the inside. If you want to install the landing gear, I usually do wheels up, wheels down, so I'm going to do that here. Should be pretty easy. You just slide these in and they clip in. We always try to fly things with gear if they come with gear. Yeah, it snaps in super easy, very, very strong. And then of course the nose gear, which I think going forward looks better. It's just a square that slides into the slot. These little foam planes have come a long ways. Which way is it supposed to be? Did they show in the manual? There's a picture of it right there. So I'm just gonna plop my spare props in here. Please note that they are different. There's 2 props, but they're not interchangeable, okay? One of them says R, it says 1/R, so it says 1, then R. Then this one says 2 and L, okay? If you get in a crash and you break the same prop twice, then you're out. You have to order more props. Or alternatively, and this won't work perfect, but you can probably trim out the deviation. You can take this prop and run it the opposite direction, okay? It's not gonna, well, actually that's not true because you're still gonna have the same pitch. So you're screwed. If you break the same prop twice, then you're out, okay? My experience on these planes, they put them inboard, so there's a pretty good amount of protection. So if you imagine this is your point of vulnerability, look at where the landing gear is, okay? So this is where the prop would be striking, okay? You're gonna have to be hitting pretty hard to where that thing's gonna hit. You see how hard it's gotta be bent? So that's actually a very good design. That should keep this thing. The only bad thing about having inboard thrust like that is that you get less yaw authority, because if you had it out here, you'd have a larger lever arm from the center where it pivots, okay? So this will work fine, okay? I'm excited to see it fly. We might even be able to tolerate a little teeny bit of wind. Comes with the screwdriver. I'm not really sure exactly why they included a screwdriver. My guess is that the screwdriver is just part of a kit that the Chinese buy when they put these things together. And a lot of times there's a screw that's involved in tightening these things down. There was no screw in this particular application. There is a screw here, but I don't know why they would even include it. So anyway, we're in the off condition here. We'll lay this down. What we're gonna do is pause, grab 4 AA batteries, which are not provided with this, even though it's considered a ready to fly. That's pretty customary in the Chinese realm, and actually a lot of the English sold, but still Chinese built radio controlled aircraft. We did the Ranger 850 the other day by FMS, very good plane by the way. And that plane did not come with AA's either. And most planes that you get in the ready to fly configuration, short of possibly Horizon, is about the only one we know that even includes the 4 AA's. But who cares? It's like, you know, $2 for 4 AA's. So I would just say, rather than ship that from China, I'd rather just buy them at Harbor Freight for the absolute lowest dollar possible.
They're like $2 for like 100.
Well, if you buy them right, but I don't think it's even quite that low, Camera Crew. Come on now. Come on now. Don't mislead the people. All right, we'll pause. We'll get the batteries and come right back. Okay, so we have the world's cheapest AA's. We're gonna stick in here. These are like 1 milliamp hour each from Harbor Freight. So just in case you're wondering, maybe someday we'll get a sponsor that wants to send us like millions of awesome batteries.
AA's.
So we can recommend something that's not total garbage. All right, so power's on. We've got a little flashing light. This is typical. I got a battery from our Predator drone, which was another plane that we reviewed in the past. It was actually a pretty sweet plane, but used the same type of battery connector. So we're gonna try, yes, the polarity is backward, I checked. Okay, so we're just gonna plop that in. This is a 300 milliamp hour, if I remember. Oh, 500. So we're actually probably close enough to be able to test and get a similar result. 600 is a little bit bigger. Milliamp hours speaks to how long it will charge or discharge, how much it will discharge in 1 hour. Milliamps are 1,000th of an amp. Okay, so now that that's on, we'll turn this off and then turn this back on and see if it finds itself. Okay, since that didn't work, we got a flashing light. We're gonna turn this off and then turn this on and lay it down. Do we have to bind it?
I don't know. I didn't see anything.
Okay, so as you can see, we got a flashing light. Nothing real fancy is happening. I wonder if it doesn't perceive itself to be level. I definitely see flashing lights. We have had this happen before in the past.
Oh, wait, do you have to do the
Up, down. Oh, throttle up, down. Throttle up, throttle down. There we go. Now it's working. And as I suggested earlier, Camera Crew, see? Up, down, roll left, roll right. Look at that. That's so cool. So we have telebonds. That's sweet.
Wow.
And then there's probably differential thrust too. So a little bit of throttle. Oh yeah, we have differential thrust. And just to show you how resilient it is to damage, we've already lost both vertical stabilizers, but that's okay because they're fine. Be careful when this thing moves, it has stabilization. Stabilization is where the plane perceives its position in reality, its absolute position compared to your controls. So watch what happens. Nothing, okay? Nothing, right? The props don't start, but if you have a little bit of throttle on there, and I'm talking hardly any, you see this? It's not enough to start it like this, but watch this. It's gonna try to keep the yaw position correct. So be careful, you cut yourself. So here we go, let's show you. There's definitely yaw authority and yaw authority. Let's try it this way. The Camera Crew went to try to save it. She didn't save it though. So I don't know if there's differential thrust or just differences in thrust. Yes. So how many times have we crashed it off the island?
3.
This is 3?
Yep.
So just to give you an idea of how strong these things are, they're quite strong. And you see how the elevator's up? It's trying to bring it level. When it's down, it's trying to bring it level. So now how do we switch modes on the transmitter? Let's take a look at that together while we're kind of in test mode. Speed switch 1 beep low speed, 1 beep high speed. Okay, so there's 2 buttons. Let's see what happens. You want to be careful, it doesn't take off on you. There's 2 beeps.
So the high speed.
I think what they're talking about is rates.
Rates.
Okay, so elevator up, elevator up, elevator up, elevator up. That's high rates. 2 beeps is high rates. 1 beep is low rate. See, low rate, even more. Up, even less. Even more, even less. Does that make sense? See the roll? Even more, even less. So when you hear the 2 beeps, that means it's gonna do maneuvering more extreme. Okay, so that's high rates versus low rates. Low rates are 1 beep, meaning it does less aerobatic capability, and 2 beeps is high rates, which means more aerobatic capability. in the same time frame. Okay, so what else do we need to check on? We've got all the throttle figured out. It's got a pretty good amount of power too. It's actually quite sturdy. And I'm surprised how much power it has. Not quite enough to fly into my hand, but it's close. So that's really good. Also, these jets, it doesn't look like the stabilizer is doing anything in the roll axis here, which is strange. You see that? So it's not actually trying to roll the plane back to level. And you know how they're accomplishing that? Dihedral. So the dihedral is actually what's being used to stabilize the plane in the roll axis. And then the elevator is being used to bring it to a level attitude. So really cool the way they did that. I haven't seen that yet. All right, guys, hopefully that helps answer a lot of your questions. You've already seen it fly, so we haven't, but we will be doing that next in our reality, but you've already seen it. If you like this plane, if you want to help support our channel, the best way you can do that is look in the video description. You'll see a link for this plane. You can buy one for your very own. If you don't like this plane, we have tons of other planes. Just follow down a little bit further. And we also have some end screens that are popping up anytime soon. We try to recommend some videos that you might like after this one ends. But in the meantime, if you want to support us, but you don't want to buy any planes right at the moment, maybe your hangar is full or your wife has threatened to divorce you, you can just set up some payments through Patreon or PayPal, either one. PayPal is a little bit lower on the fee structure for us, so more of the money that you give us will get to our bank account as opposed to the Patreon, which is a monthly support thing. So either way, we just want to make it easy for you guys to support us in any way you'd like. But this plane is really cool, and I'm excited for you to get your very own. So please do it. Check the link in the video description below. Anything you want to add, camera crew?
I don't think so.
All right, come back for more. Thanks for watching, guys.